Everyone demands success, either in this life or in the hereafter, or both. Many people claim that they're going to go to paradise, they're going to go to Jannah. But how to obtain this? Allah Azza wa Jal did not leave us without guidance, tabaraka wa ta'ala. And Allah Azza wa Jal told us in the Quran how to achieve this. In one of the great surah in the Quran, which is Surah Al-Mu'minun. And in this surah, Allah Azza wa Jal give us the guidelines in order to achieve not just only Jannah, to achieve Al-Firdaus Al-A'la, which is the highest status in Jannah. Allah Azza wa Jal said in the first 11 ayahs of this surah, after saying A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem, seeking refuge in Allah from the outcast devil, and saying Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, in the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Allah Azza wa Jal said, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. Definitely the believers will succeed. Meaning they're going to gain success in this life and in the hereafter if they follow the guidance of Allah Azza wa Jal. And Allah Azza wa Jal described them to be the believers. What is the meaning of that? Those who submit their will to the will of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. Those who believed in Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. Those who follow His guidance Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. Those who love Allah Azza wa Jal the most. Where Allah Azza wa Jal described the believers in the Quran, وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أَشَدُّ حُبًّا لِلَّهِ. Those who truly believe in Allah Azza wa Jal, those who love Allah Azza wa Jal the most. So here Allah Azza wa Jal described them to be believers in Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. And Allah Azza wa Jal promised them they're going to succeed in this life and in the hereafter. And the most important, they're going to be succeeding in the hereafter by gaining the highest status in Jannah, which is Al-Firdaus. What is the description and the characteristics of those believers? Allah Azza wa Jal described in this surah, الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ. Those who are humbled themselves to Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala in their prayer. Those who are focused in their prayer, because the prayer, it is a connection between them and Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. And also the prayer, it is the line between Iman, faith in Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, and being ungrateful to Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. Then Allah Azza wa Jal in the following ayah said about them, وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنِ اللَّغْوِ مُعْرِضُونَ. Those who avoid and stay away from all falsehood speech. Meaning, they don't involve in the falsehood speech. They don't lie. They don't backbite. They don't get involved with any gathering that has backbiting and lying. They abstain from all kind of falsehood speech, because the falsehood speech will lead to the things which are forbidden. Then Allah Azza wa Jal described them, وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِلزَّكَاةِ فَاعِلُونَ. Those who are doing the zakat. And the meaning of this, my brothers and sisters, because this ayah was revealed in Meccan time, during the time when the Prophet ﷺ in Mecca, before Allah Azza wa Jal give us the guidelines to pay the zakat, the mandatory charity, that the meaning of this ayah, that they purify themselves, as Allah stated in the Quran, in another surah where Allah said, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا. They will gain success, those who purify themselves. Meaning, my brothers and sisters, those who purify themselves from all evil, from all shirk, they're going to be amongst the successful ones. And also, if Allah Azza wa Jal bless them with wealth, that they're going to pay the zakat, they're going to pay this mandatory charity for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal, in order to purify their wealth and their income to get closer to Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. Then Allah Azza wa Jal described them, وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِفُرُوجِهِمْ حَافِظُونَ إِلَّا عَلَى أَزْوَاجِهِمْ أَوْ مَا مَلَكَتْ أَيْمَانُهُمْ فَإِنَّهُمْ غَيْرُ مَلُومِينَ فَمَنِ ابْتَغَى وَرَاءَ ذَلِكَ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْعَادُونَ. Those who guard their private parts, who protect themselves from falling into zina, fornication, or adultery. The meaning of this, my brothers and sisters, Allah Azza wa Jal described those believers who abstain from anything that leads them to zina, that leads them to commit this haram and evil deed, because they wanted to be pure, they wanted to get closer to Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. And because Allah Azza wa Jal knows that we have desire, Allah Azza wa Jal allowed us to have spouses. And that's what Allah Azza wa Jal said, إِلَّا عَلَى أَزْوَاجِهِمْ أَوْ مَا مَلَكَتْ أَيْمَانُهُمْ فَإِنَّهُمْ غَيْرُ مَلُومِينَ. Except with their spouse, then they are not blameworthy. Then Allah Azza wa Jal said, فَمَنِ ابْتَغَى وَرَاءَ ذَلِكَ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْعَادُونَ. Whomever seeks beyond this, then those are the transgressors. Meaning anything that could lead us to commit This evil deed, Allah Azza wa Jal prohibit us to get close to that, which means to abstain from zina and abstain from fornication and anything that leads to that, whether from our eyes or our ears or our action, and anything that gets us close to this, then it is forbidden in Islam. Then Allah Azza wa Jal said, وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِأَمَانَاتِهِمْ وَعَهْدِهِمْ رَاعُونَ. Those who are attentive towards their trusts and towards their promises, those who are trustworthy and they are attentive to their promises. And here, this is the description of the believer, those who are attentive to their promises, those who keeps their words. And here, my brothers and sisters, the amana is not just only in the dealings or only in money transactions. Amana in everything in our life, in our social life, in all aspects of our life. We should be trustworthy. We should keep our promises and our covenant for the sake of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. Then Allah Azza wa Jal said, after that, وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ عَلَى صَلَوَاتِهِمْ يُحَافِظُونَ. Those who guards, who look after their salawat. And if you notice here, my brothers and sisters, Allah Azza wa Jal reminded us about the salah twice in the first 11 ayah of the surah, because the salah is so important in the sight of Allah Azza wa Jal. And Allah Azza wa Jal wanted to remind us that those who guard their prayer, those who are closer to Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, the ones who are looking after their salawat. And also, my brothers and sisters, we need to learn as well that the salah is so important in the sight of Allah Azza wa Jal. And it is a special act of worship that distinguish between the true believer in Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala and the ones who are not true believer in Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. And if the person fulfilled that, then what Allah Azza wa Jal promised them, then Allah Azza wa Jal said, أُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْوَارِثُونَ. Those will be the inheritors. What they gonna inherit? الَّذِينَ يَرِثُونَ الْفِرْدَوْسَ هُمْ فِيهَا خَالِدُونَ. Those who will be inheriting paradise, the highest status in Jannah, and they're gonna stay there forever. Subhanallah. That's why, my brothers and sisters, Allah Azza wa Jal in this ayat summarized for us what is the way to achieve the highest status in Jannah, which is Al-Firdaus Al-A'la. That's why for those ones who claim that they're gonna go to paradise, we say to them, if you want to truly to go to paradise, follow the guidelines of Allah Azza wa Jal in the first 11 ayah in this chapter, then they're gonna be amongst those who are the successful ones, as Allah Azza wa Jal has promised in the beginning of this chapter. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal to be amongst those who are successful in this life and in the hereafter. And we ask Allah Azza wa Jal to be amongst those who will be inheriting Al-Firdaus Al-A'la. وَجَزَاكُمُ اللَّهُ خَيْرًا.